name is Zed. Today we're talking about representation, specifically representation when it comes to the government. So, when we have someone that we consider to be a representative, generally we're talking about anything from an actual representative in the House of Representatives all the way up to the President of the United States. Well, I guess we could start off by saying our city council, all the way up to the President of the United States. These are individuals who are, well, we'll just call them representatives now. The reason I'm not saying it yet is because the whole question is, what is that person supposed to be? I don't care what level we're talking about. What is that person to us? What are they supposed to be? So if you were to ask me that question, I would say, well, a representative, somebody who's supposed to be from within our community, who we elect to be making the calls on our own behalf. So they take a job in a position where they basically have all the knowledge that comes in from the different sources. So we're talking city council. They understand what's going on with the waste management. They understand what's going on with the electrical company or whatever it is that's going on in that particular region. There might be a dam. There might be a national park. Might be a sports team. Doesn't matter. Point is they take all this information in, and then they're supposed to make decisions based upon what we want. So, same thing. If you're the President of the United States, you're supposed to have your secretaries, and not secretaries as in, the ladies that wait in the front desk, that also could be men. Don't think I'm being sexist. But no. Secretary of Homeland Security, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of blah, 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 blah. All these officials who represent different branches and different aspects of what government is at the federal level, and they come to you with information, options. We're heading into a recession because of this is what's going on. Our analysts say that, these are the three options we have. What should we do? Well, because I'm here representing the American people, I'm going to make the next choice based upon what the American people would want. Just like at the city council level. So to me, a representative is somebody that's supposed to literally represent me. Not specifically exactly what I want, but at least in a ballpark. But is that what we have right now? Do you feel as though that's what we have right now? That the people that are city council or president of the United States are in a room where people come in with those options and they're making a decision based upon your best interests? I don't think so. I don't care what, red, blue, doesn't matter. That's why the background's pink right now. Or not pink, purple. The combination of the two. It doesn't matter. They're not there for us. Which is not to say that there's nobody there for us. On the on the liberal side, you have AOC, Cory Bush, basically the squad. You've got, Bernie Sanders. It's basically, he's an independent, but he's more on the liberal side. But as far as I know, there are Republicans that are very happy that, Bernie Sanders is at least out there doing something for America. I would say the best representation of the Republican voters, and I don't know if this is me being negative or derogatory, but would be Marjorie Taylor Greene. That she is a great representation of the current Republican voters. At least from my perspective, that's what would it appear. And it's also why she got shunned by both sides. Because she's not... There's a big game going on, and she's not a player. So when she came there, yes, she's saying some stuff that I consider to be goofy as shit. So Jewish space lasers and so on and so forth, that's a little far out there for me, personally. But hey, to each their own. But I recognize that there are a lot of voters that also feel that same way on the Republican side, which is why I think that she's a good representation. But beyond those people, who? Who representing the actual American people? I don't know. I heard great things about, because I'm in California, about a mayor that was in Stockton who was actually representing the people. That was amazing. But it's so few and far between that now a city that I don't even live in a state that I do reside in, happens to pop up in my mind as, oh yeah, there was this one person. The Prime Minister, President, fucking HMFIC of New Zealand. She's amazing. Jacinda Ardern? I'm not sure. But amazing. Anytime that I see there's some, news story or she has some press conference where, pops up on my YouTube page, it's just like, oh, I'm so jealous that we don't have representation that just goes up there and sounds like a fucking person who's trying their best to represent the people. That instead we get the legalese, we can, but we can't, but we have to, but we'll try, and we can, blah, blah, and it's all just this double talking bullshit, because it's a game. The whole point is to keep us outside of understanding. That way we just have to give the benefit of the doubt to our representatives. Well, man, that seems pretty complicated. I hope they're doing their homework. They're not. They're not doing their homework. Which is why we're having this conversation now. Each time that there are different offices, different departments that come together to share the knowledge with whoever's in that position who's supposed to be representing us at any level, you and I are no longer represented. The people that are represented are not people. They're corporations. So again, I'm in California where we're going through a drought. We have a government agency, a government in California that has the audacity to say to the millions and millions of people who, if you tallied up all of our water usage, is like so small compared to the amount of water usage by some of the corporations here in this state. So if we were really interested in trying to preserve water, the idea would be, oh, we don't have enough water, we're trying to conserve water for the people, right? Because that would make sense. No, that's not why we're conserving water. You and I, the citizens, need to turn our taps down or maybe not water our lawns so that the corporations can guarantee that they have enough to fulfill whatever their quota is in water. They get the water. That's guaranteed. You and I, well, we get to fight over whatever's left over. And it's because we don't have representation. So to me, a representative is basically supposed to be a parent. Not in the idea that a parent is... There's a lot of people that... There are many different kinds of parents. The parent that I'm speaking of is a parent who's supposed to be there to be working for your best interest. So not the because I say so parent. Or very commonly, not the because I say so parent. So there can be because I say soers that are also caring and are there to do for everything in the best interest of their kid. They're just assholes when it comes to explaining. Yes, assholes. But yeah, in the idea of a perfect parent, that they are a parent we get to choose and we can fucking kick out as soon as they prove that they are not acting in our best interests. So we don't have to tolerate having garbage parents because now we're adults. But that's supposed to be their job. To be parental, to be there in a supervisory capacity, not to tell us what to do, but to basically make the good decision on our behalf. And we don't have it. Even here in California, there was just a recall for Newsom. I myself voted no. We don't need to recall this dumbass. Not that I like the guy. But the whole point is that there's already a system in place. If the Republicans would like to run somebody as governor, then they need to win over a majority of the voters in this fucking state. You don't get to try some Donald Trump cheating bullshit where you're going to, do it in a different way, where you're going to recall somebody, and then we just have to get enough people to not like this guy, and then we don't have to win the majority of the state. We just have to get enough voters to vote for whoever our person is. So it could be 12% of the voters in the state, but that's still good enough. But thank goodness it did not happen. So we were going to lose a person who really didn't represent us for another person who not only doesn't represent us, but is willing to cheat the system to get into the place of power. Yeah, fuck that noise. I guess my ultimate hope is that you and I, the very people that they are trying to pull the wool over our eyes on, the ones they are trying to con, wisen up. Recognize that we are not going to be able to vote for this one person who the powers that be put forward for us to choose. That option does not work. That option cannot work. It is a system rigged against us. Meaning, that's the Sisyphical way to go. Sisyphean, however it's said. The point is that then we're going to be pushing the same boulder up a hill every day, all day. Never really making any ground. Except because the game is rigged so bad, it's Sisyphean and we keep sliding back. So no matter how hard we work to get up that mountain, we're just not going to be able to do it. So sure, I get that it's easy to throw our hands up and be like, fuck it, I give up. This is garbage, the system's rigged, what are we going to do? It's either we have to go to war or we just suck it up and take it. No, that's a false choice. Sure, you could pick up your weapons, just know that you're going up against an enemy that's been highly trained and has much, much, much more sophisticated weapons than you do. An enemy that would already have all of your information, who would know your entire family line, who would know where they live, what car they drive, all that kind of stuff. So does that sound like a battle you want to get into? Probably not. Not even mentioning the weaponry that they have, predator drones and shit, so they don't even have to be there. They can already basically send a robot army at us. And we don't have to give up. The hope is us. You and I. That you and I don't want to be bullshitted. That we're tired of being manipulated. Of being fooled. Of being treated like assholes. By real assholes. Who in your family is the most trusted person? And I don't mean who's the male figure at the head of your family, although that may very well be the person who you trust the most. That's the person we need to have as our representation. Just someone that fucking cares. So, we have weird tendencies here in this nation where if you're an atheist, you're not likely going to serve. Now, apparently we have gay and trans people that have made it into, public service, which is amazing. I'm frankly surprised at it. Where I guess when it comes to being president, that's another obstacle that's much harder, or a higher goal to achieve, a higher bar to hit. I don't know. There's a saying there somewhere. But yeah, like, I just want it to be grandmas. Like, amazing grandmas that have already done an awesome job raising kids. Like, not the asshole grandmas, because those exist too. But I mean, like, the actual good grandmas who gave a shit. The moms who gave a shit. The dads who gave a shit. The teachers who put their fucking ass into working and teaching kids. Those people. The people that we would nominate as heroes within our own community. That's who we need to put into office. Someone who's already shown us that they will act in our best interests. But the fucking politicians they have, it's all a garbage game. And at the end of this game, it comes to an election where you have shitty option 1 or really shitty option 2. Which one do you want to pick? Neither of them. Fuck them both. Here's someone else. Here's Mr. Coleman. He's an amazing teacher who has been fucking touching the lives of his students, hopefully in the best ways possible, touching the lives of his students for years. He has motivated people and given people just that ambition that they needed, that little bit of support, that pat on the back. This dude is awesome. Well, great. Get him on the city council. Get him to the presidency. We could even run a little fucking competition together where we get to nominate all these amazing people and then just put them into this pool of amazing options. Then whenever an election comes up, we can play a little game together and we can decide, who do we want this time? So last time we had an election, we went a little more Republican with our choices. But maybe this time we want to go a little bit more liberal, or maybe we want to go a little more progressive, or maybe we want to try, who fucking knows? The point is, then it would be our choice. We wouldn't have to deal with the best of two shit options. We'd actually be able to have a good option. So, and I get it. I'm adding this conversation to a slurry of a whole bunch of other shit. What about, all these people on this side and all these people on this side? We need to get rid of this fucking, the filibuster, and we need to do this. And now we've got an Afghanistan pulling out, and we're going to go back into Afghanistan, and we're kicking the Haitians out, and we got, right. Time after time after time after time, a bunch of different examples of how our representation fucking sucks. So, I'm just tired of being embarrassed. We're sending Haitians, thousands, almost hundreds of thousands of Haitians away. And don't quote me on the numbers, I'm not sure. I just remember it wasn't like, 200 people. So, beyond 1,000 people that came to this country in search of assistance, in hopes that the bullshit story we've been sending out to the world, that this is the land of opportunity, that this is the land of freedom, was actually going to be true. That everything they knew, everything that they had worked their lives and asses off to gain, was gone. And they had to go somewhere new. And they came here to what's supposed to be the shiny city on the hill. Right. And we kept him under a fucking overpass, straight up Scarface style. Because, that worked previously, right? Because we learn really well from our past mistakes, right? Our representation is doing such a great job, right? No. And now we have, bullshit fucking Biden, who's like, yeah, no, we're going to kick him out. They shouldn't have come. It's a health risk. Jesus. And that's the thing. We have a majority religious people here in the United States, especially on the Republican side. I don't mean to pick on you guys, but if you claim to love Jesus, to follow Jesus' message, why is it none of us are on that border washing the feet of those immigrants, breaking bread, giving them food and drink, bringing them into our home, and giving them a warm place to stay, a cool place to stay? Is that not what Christ would do? Is that not the message that Christ came to this world to pass down to you? Is that not what makes Christians different than any other denomination? But instead we're saying, nope, the land of opportunity's fucking full. Get out! I don't even believe in God. So So Jesus to me is just a story. But the story at least sent a message to me that the golden rule is how we go. That's the way to move forward. Empathy, kindness, and love. But we're not treating our fellow man with that compassion, that kindness, that love. But yeah. We also get a lot of messaging from the top. A lot of messaging from our representation. Our representatives are the ones who we get the messaging from. They're the ones that have to come to us and now justify the reason why they made some shitty call that happened to only benefit corporations. And they'll come up with some kind of talking point. Some of us believe it, some of us see through it, some of us don't even listen or care. But if we want this place to stay, if we want America to stay America, if we want to still have any kind of rights, any kind of freedoms, if we want to get to the top of that fucking mountain, well, we need to come together. Find a way to get good representation. Whether it be our grandmas or if you have a better idea. I don't know. But let's talk about it. Because the system we have right now, if we just continually do, the bare minimum, what our representation is asking of us, it's not going to... I fear that nothing will change. And if nothing changes, we will eventually get to the bottom of that mountain. And at the bottom of that mountain, we will find that there are not rights, there are not freedoms, there are not opportunities. That we will be the new peasant class. Corporations will be king. Representatives will be the fucking lords and ladies. And then there's us. Yay! That sounds great. Or we can suck it up. Start having conversations with fellow Americans that we might not like very much, but don't yet hate. Maybe we can ensure that we don't become peasants. Maybe we can ensure that we have some decent representation. Maybe America won't be an embarrassment. Who knows? Anything's possible when we put in effort. We are the American people. There is nothing we can't do. It's just a matter of whether we think it's worth it. I do. But I ask you, is this nation, is your freedom, is the future worth it? Thank you for your time.